Hello and welcome for this first hardware related video. It's only a proposal and only my opinion. Are pedals to control helicopters in DCS a must-have? For me, as a commercial helicopter pilot, this question was never asked. Without pedals was never an option. Because of technical issues with the helicopter controls I used since a couple of months, I sent them to the manufacturer for maintenance. So I'm sitting here for 1 week staring on my computer display. Finally, I decided to digging out my old Joystick. But there was one major problem. I saw the pedals already months ago. The question next: how to fly a UH-1 without pedals? In DCS, it depends on the alternatives available. Many of you have a joystick not only for controlling nick and roll axis, he may be also twisted to control the yaw or anti-torque tail rotor. For me, not an option. Using only 3 or 4 fingers to control the cyclic, the spring inside the joysticks feel already uncomfortable enough. Muscle force needed to twist the stick for tail rotor control leads to a total loss of control. Having not only a joystick but a complete HOTAS system, including thrust lever with lots of buttons and control dialers, which I use for light dimming and other cockpit function, even in connection with the helicopter controls. Without collective and cyclic control stick available, I use the thrust lever to control collective pitch and the big control dial on top for controlling the tail rotor thrust. With the thumb, I control the yaw axis easily and sensitive. In fact, I control the nose of the helicopter. Rotating the control dial counterclockwise leads to the nose turn to the left. Rotating it clockwise and the helicopter nose will turn to the right. But before flying, another proposal when using the thrust lever as collective stick. I set the axis on reverse so it works in the opposite direction, and on the first attempts it will be strange. But it correlates with the helicopter collective, to pull when increasing thrust on the main rotor and to push down when decreasing main rotor thrust. In addition, when you mount your thrust lever tilted forward, it becomes even more sense. And if I decide to have fun with helicopters and later on I switch to a semi-collective, my muscle memory is already trained at the right way. Before first takeoff, there is still one thing to do. We go again into the DCS menu for the controls, adapting the axis responsible for controlling the yaw. The range of the control dial is much too high to get a full left and right pedal deflection with the thumb. We needed to reduce the saturation X at least to 60 or better 50%. So by turning only 50% of the control dial's way, we get full rudder deflection. Your thumb will be appreciate the reduction in workload as well. A short pre-flight check before takeoff. First, we check the pedal's function. Is everything working correct in the way we expected? How does it feel to use the thumb for rudder control? When pulling collective, we add a little bit of left pedal to counteract drag. At this time, very important, we control the direction in which the helicopter nose is pointing for. Don't even think on or look down to the pedals. Control the helicopter headings simply by turning the control dial in correlation with your intentions. So let's take off more aggressive as usual to provoke bigger changes in torque produced by the main rotor, and we get busy in controlling the heading with the thumb. Even the spring in and the joystick itself is unusual for me. There is still enough concentration left to master the aircraft heading with the thumb. As you can see in the lower left window, using still 3 fingers at the collective for sensitive attachments, which will be for me impossible if I have to twist the stick for yaw control as well. If somebody able to do this, he must have hand claps like benchwise. Small and smooth thumb movements, nice to see at the left lower windows to control the tail rotor. Nose straight after the quick stop and touchdown. Until now I get only 5 to 10 minutes practice in this configuration, and because my helicopter controls are back from maintenance, I quit trying. But next time I won't wait again on week before using this experience and fly even without pedals as figure it out right now. Because everything is a little bit unusual and I'm still main concentrated on the thumb, the approach is too fast and too short, but still under control. Let's try again. You may see the thumb working to control the direction of the nose. Reducing airspeed, lowering collective, and always counteracting torque with the thumb. Oops! I'm not concentrated enough, and something happens in my brain. My subconsciousness takes over the control. Because I'm used to fly the Bell 47 without a governor by twisting the throttle to maintain rotor RPM, and when pulling collective, twisting my wrist inwards, I get confused with the thumb following the wrist, which is the wrong direction now. Mixing left and right, and I need a few seconds to realize and correct it. But when you never have flown a helicopter with manual manipulated throttle before, you usually may not get that experience. Let's recapitulate. If you like to give one of the helicopter modules in DCS a chance for a first helicopter flight, it works very well without an investment in pedals in advance. It's very easy and may be better to learn with a HOTAS and its possibilities. Even only with a joystick it may work to get infected by the helicopter virus, but I would not recommend doing that. If you've never been flown a helicopter before, it may be easier with the thumb and without pedals than with your feet and an additional piece of controls. As I mentioned before, changing the direction of the throttle and tilting it forward will be an even greater realistic feeling. And if you like it, and there is no doubt about it, when buying better controls for more realistic feeling, you are already doing it in the right way. So everything comes to an end. Thank you for watching. Questions and or comments, please let me know in the comments below. And if you liked the video, don't forget to like it and or subscribe to the channel. See you next time. Bye.